Today is your lucky day, guys. You know why? Because I have actually taken your request and I came to a more affordable area of Miami to show you guys what things are like off the beach, different places, okay? Now this spot I've never been to before ever, even though I've lived here for 15 years, and we're on the edge of Biscayne Park and North Miami, and I wanted to pick a place that seemed halfway decent but wasn't crazy expensive, but also wasn't like totally in the hood either. So this house behind me is 4-bed, 2.5 bath. It's on a pretty busy street. They're asking $780K for this house, all right? And the house across the street, that one right there, sold recently for $725K. So probably a little bit overpriced, but this is kind of like what you get for affordable in Miami around here. And later in this video, I'm gonna show you guys some other houses that are cheaper than this that I'm just kind of like stopping by, but don't seem to be really in the greatest areas, guys. And those are still $500,000 houses. So I figured I'd come over here, walk over here, show you guys this spot. Most of the houses in this area are listed for about 700 to 800,000, right around this neighborhood we're gonna walk through. And then right across the street is one of them you'll see later in the video, was listed for like 595. You have some over there in the 500,000 price range. It's still very expensive, guys. Really the point I wanna make with this is, first of all, I'm here, I'm showing it to you guys because you asked me to, but realistically, I mean, just ask yourself, how many of you can actually afford an $800,000 house, okay? Probably not that many. The reality is, guys, when you're looking at $800,000 house, $1.3 million house, $4 million house, who cares, right? It's all super expensive. It's all unaffordable for most people. And that's kind of the point I'm trying to make. And I really had to come out of my way to shoot this video and show you guys different spots. So that's why I normally don't do it. But I just wanted to show you something different today since so many people ask me about it, so here you go. Now, one of the big narratives that we keep hearing over and over again with the housing market is we have a nationwide housing shortage. There's just not enough homes to go around, and you know, with the millennials getting into home buying age, that we don't have nearly enough houses to go around, guys. That's pretty much the narrative. And right now, there's about 1 million homes on the market for sale in the US. And pre-pandemic, that number was a lot closer to like 1.8 million, somewhere around there, okay? So compared to what it used to be, the amount of inventory listed on the market is lower. But here's the thing, what happened to all those houses? Did they just disappear? Did they just take the hot air balloon and leave planet Earth? No, of course not. They're still here, right? And here's something interesting that I want to share with you guys. There's a website called AirDNA, and this website basically tracks all of the rental activity on Airbnb, and they track how many active listings there are, they track how much people are getting per night, occupancy rates, all kinds of things like this. And AirDNA recently reported that in 2023, there's about 1.4 million active Airbnb listings on the market right now as we speak, guys. So think about this for a minute. Airbnb has 1.4 listings, more listings available than actual homes for sale right now. Don't you think that's a little bit troubling? When you dig deeper into this, it gets even more alarming, to be quite honest, because 54% of all of the Airbnb listings that are on Airbnb right at this moment were added between 2020 and today. So literally just over the last 2 years, we have seen the Airbnb listings increase by 54%. That's insane, guys. And look at the time frame. What do you know? It's right during the pandemic, right around the time they handed out the stimulus checks, right around the time people fraudulently stole a bunch of PPP money and different things like that. And interest rates were at an all-time low, basically, to buy homes. So do you guys think this is a coincidence that we all of a sudden have all of these Airbnb listings listed out of thin air during the pandemic up until now, and we had such an increase in them? Of course not. But it looks like the party might be over for all these people that bought these Airbnb properties thinking that this is going to be the best investment ever. Because when you dig into the AirDNA data, you can go and check out how much occupancy rates have fallen during the past year and how much the nightly rate has fallen for people as well, especially in certain cities, guys. Like even here in Miami, the amount that people are getting is down quite a bit. People who bought these Airbnb properties and thought that they were just going to do a short-term rental and get rich off of this, and obviously you saw a lot of people, you know, pick up on this during the pandemic, that party might be completely over. So my question I ask you is, what do you guys think is going to happen when these Airbnb owners can no longer make the money that they were anticipating that they could make with these newly purchased Airbnb properties? What do you think they're going to do, guys? In my opinion, it's going to be one of two things. They're going to put it on the market for sale, try to sell it before it's too late, or they're going to try to turn it into a long-term rental. And if you ask me, either way, it's going to be good for the housing market because it gives us more inventory. More rental inventory means prices going down. More people renting means less people buying, which means less demand to buy homes, which means home prices going down. So either way, this is going to be good for the housing market. If they choose to sell, great. We have 1 million homes on the market for sale. If half these people give up, that's another, 700,000 listings right there, guys, before we even talk about foreclosures, before we even talk about new construction, before we even talk about all of the home sellers that said they're going to relist pretty soon in the next couple of months when spring hits. So think about that for a minute. Next time you hear about these inventory shortages and that we don't have enough homes, guys, I say BS. We have plenty of homes. It's just that so many of them have been bought for speculation purposes, especially you'll see in some of these listings I'm going to share with you in this video. It is just crazy, guys, how many houses here in Miami especially were purchased within just the last 1 or 2 years, even in regular neighborhoods like this, and people paid half of what they're asking, and they think somehow they can double their money in 1 year. So apparently these people who are trying to do that right now have not gotten the message that the game is over, okay? Because they're not selling. They're just sitting on the market. Some of these places aren't really that nice, You come to neighborhoods like this and it's kind of hit or miss, guys. You got houses like this, and then right across the street, you got a really nice neighbor, everything's nice and clean. So you start getting into this territory here when you come to spots like this. But I drove around first, looked safe enough to get out and walk around. Hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. Now Home Depot just came out today and said that starting on January 16th, that they are going to be changing their hourly wage payment policy for all their employees. And what they're going to be doing now, they're going to be paying people based on your exact time punches. And basically how this used to work before is, say you're supposed to get off at 9 o'clock at night and you clock out at 8:50, right, 10 minutes early, they would automatically round you up to 9 o'clock at night and give you the extra money. But depending on how close you were to the 9 o'clock mark, if you clocked out at 8:50 instead of like maybe 8:57, they might round you down, okay? And they might round you down to 8:45, right? So you lose those 5 minutes. And this has become such a problem for Home Depot that now they're saying, forget it. We're going to be paying you guys based on the exact minute you clock out. It's going to be no more of this rounding up or rounding down. And at first when I saw this story, I thought they were trying to just cut costs and try to pay people as little as possible. But instead, what it's all about is their employees complaining that they were rounding down more than they were rounding up. But ironically enough, this is probably going to hurt people more than it's going to help them, because, the ones who were getting rounded up, if you were smart when you clocked out, you're going to be losing those extra minutes that turn into hours over the year, and equals a little bit less money for you, most likely, guys. So, people complain about stuff and it ends up coming back to bite them in the end. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen here with Home Depot. Here's an affordable house for you guys, only $559,000. 4-bedroom, 2-bath, another flip. They bought this house back in March of 2021 for $370,000, and they've been trying to sell it since July of 2022. They listed it for $530,000, then thought, hey, why not raise the price? It's not selling, so that sounds like a great idea. And now, fast forward to today, $559,000, still on the market, guys. And The neighborhood here is pretty sketchy to say the least. I would not call this the ghetto, but I wouldn't exactly call it a great area or really an area I would even want to walk around in, hence why I'm driving the car instead of actually getting out and walking the area. Saw some homeless people around. Some of these yards look pretty banged up. Even this house was like, everything's very haphazard, not very well maintained, even though the inside of the house looked nice, but this is what you get in an affordable area of Miami. Now, a little over a month ago, we talked about buy now, pay later, and how this is becoming a big thing once again. And with the younger generation in particular, like Gen Z, these guys are really picking up on this and using this for everything. In fact, they're learning this from TikTok. There are people out there on TikTok that say, I don't care if I have $40 million in the bank and I buy a $7 item, I'm gonna buy now, pay later. So that's the mentality that these guys are using now to basically finance everything. And they are saying that this is better than credit cards because, you usually get like 6 weeks to pay off an item, no interest, things like that. And on the flip side, they charge the merchant like 4 times more than what the credit card company would be charging the merchant. I'm surprised that any merchants would even be going for this. The amount of people doing these buy now, pay later loans is literally exploding, guys, and I'm not exaggerating. It has gone up 1,000% from $2 billion to $24.2 billion. And that's from 2019 to 2021. So imagine just in 2 years, the amount of people doing this has exploded 1,000%. What other stat or figure do you know of that has exploded 1,000% in 2 years? I can't think of any. They're saying that this is going to be a huge credit bubble bursting because since it's the majority of Gen Z and the younger generation doing this, that this is going to basically be the next credit bubble that's going to explode over the next couple years because this age group is also the most likely to default on their payments and on their loan. And the worst part about this is now that we're entering this recession and the younger generation is kind of getting hooked on this buy now, pay later system, even though they might not even need it, they just do it anyways. But it gets you into the habit of maybe buying stuff you don't need, buying things you can't afford, and then boom, you lose your job. I can no longer make the payment. What happens now? Well, obviously they default, and this wrecks their credit to the tune of now that we're going into the recession, and when they might need the credit the most, they're not going to have it when they actually might need it to buy something legitimate, guys. So just another story of how financial negligence can really hurt people's lives, because that's what it seems like is going to be happening here, But everybody has to learn the lessons the hard way. If you're responsible with this, of course, you can make it work in your favor, just like people who use credit cards for everything and pay them off each month. I mean, I do that, I don't see anything wrong with that. But that's the key, guys. That's the caveat. You have to be able to pay it off. You don't buy anything that you wouldn't be able to pay for in cash. I mean, that's really the idea here. But a lot of people, especially the younger ones, see their friends with the new phones, with the latest cars, whatever. They fall into these bad financial habits of buy now, pay later for everything. And I can see how that can add up real quick to the point where they can't pay it off. Now this one I would say is definitely in a little mini ghetto, and apparently they try to do flips in the ghetto too. They bought this one in February of 2021 for 170 grand, and now they have it listed since November for 425,000. They're trying to market this place as an Airbnb house, guys. It's only 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 781 square feet, smaller than most apartments, and the neighborhood is pretty terrible. And definitely wasn't getting out of the car to show you guys this one. Definitely didn't feel safe, didn't feel clean, didn't feel like I should even be there, to be quite honest. But hey, the things I do for YouTube. But listen, they're also marketing this house as an Airbnb. Can you believe it? Would you stay in an Airbnb like this? Be careful next time you guys book one. Now, it turns out it's not just the US that's seeing big trouble with real estate right now. This is happening all across Europe as well. The UK is starting to see home prices decline over there, but Sweden and Germany are arguably even in bigger trouble, guys. These guys are already seeing 20% declines in their home prices, and this is just getting started, this global recession. So imagine where things are gonna go from here. And one thing I found interesting is one of my viewers from Germany, Dave, he sent me an email the other day talking about how many people are applying for the rentals over there and just how insane it is, guys. So first of all, people can't afford to buy the home still, even though the prices are coming down, and the rental demand is completely insane, off the charts, really. Get this, him and his wife have a 1.5 bedroom flat. It's about 800 square feet with a nice balcony, sun deck is what they call it, you know, outdoor space, okay? And they received about 30 to 40 applications when they put this place up for rent recently, and they live about 20 miles outside of Hamburg, Germany. He said 50% of the applications that he received were from a bunch of immigrants from Afghanistan, Syria, Ukraine, basically the refugee countries that fled to Europe, you know, over the last several years. And he said all these people weren't qualified, they want to move in with huge families, they don't have the income, you know, they have, you know, 1 million kids and dogs and pets, and they don't allow pets in their rental, all these things, right? So in the end, what happened was they ended up renting it to a young couple, you know, just 2 people, and it took them 2 weeks to get it all sorted out and rent it to them. But look at the amount of people that applied, 30 to 40 people, right? And that's nothing, because check this out. When you go to Berlin, for the small apartments over there, for every single unit that becomes available, there's about 240 people looking at each apartment, guys. When you go to 2 bedrooms, it's about 73 applicants per 2 bedroom in Berlin. So look at the amount of people applying for rentals over there. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because all the time I get people saying, oh, when they let all the illegal immigrants in here, it's just going to make the housing crisis even worse and make the housing demand even higher. It's not, guys, because the thing is, these people cannot afford these prices, and they're not going to qualify to buy or rent these homes. So where they're going to go, I have no idea. But you can just look at what's happening over by Dave's place in Germany to get a real good feel of how things are going over there and what the shape of things to come might be here. We got one for sale. This is another affordable house in the area for $800,000, and of course it's another version of a flip. Bought it in 2019 for $280,000. Now they have it listed for $800,000. And yeah, let's see. I don't know if anybody's actually foolish enough to buy something like this in this environment, but good luck with that, guys. Overall, it hasn't been so bad over here, I have to say. I mean, it's been pretty quiet, pretty peaceful, nothing crazy going on. But this is the kind of area where things can kind of change every few blocks, because when I drove just a few blocks from here, it didn't look that great. I'm going to share, like I said, different things with you guys here, some dash cam footage, things I saw, different listings in areas that, you know, they're just asking crazy money for the neighborhoods that these houses are in, guys. Now here's the latest scam to be on the lookout for as we get deeper into the recession. It turns out a bunch of tech workers that have been getting laid off have been getting scammed with fake job offers, guys. And right now, this is mainly just targeting laid off tech workers, but this can also happen to anybody, really, when you think about it. Because if you think about the amount of remote jobs that are available and the type of positions that people get hired for that you don't even have to go in for an interview for, these are the kind of people that they're targeting. So listen to this. They do all kinds of things with this, like putting up fake job listings. They'll actually do a real interview with you so it looks legit. Everything seems to be above board. They have fake recruiters that will feed you a bunch of BS, giving you information about the company and the requirements, things like that. Basically, the goal here is the same as any other goal when it comes to scamming people, and it's they either want to steal your money or they want to steal your identity, or both. That's pretty much what they're after here. Just between 2019 and 2021, the amount of these fake job listing scams that have come up literally tripled. It went up to 104,000 and went up even further in 2022, and those numbers aren't even in yet. So this is a type of scam that is on the rise right now, and you can bet as we start seeing more layoffs happen across all different industries in the country right now, you're gonna see a lot more people get scammed with this, because think about it, guys. When people get desperate, when they're looking for a new job, you might not readily recognize a scam when you see one at first glance, because you might be thinking, this looks legitimate, I've heard of this company before, and everything looks okay, so let me give them the information that they're asking for. And that's how you can get burned. I mean, think about it. When you get a job, they ask you for everything. They ask you if you're married or single. They ask you for your social security number. They want your address. They want your date of birth. They want copies of your social security card and your driver's license, maybe even a passport, everything, guys. These guys will basically take over your entire life if you're not careful. But sometimes they're just after money. And one example of this from this tech worker that this happened to, he said he had a virtual interview with somebody, so over the computer. They claimed to be a recruiter for the company Coinbase, the crypto company. He actually realized that he was being scammed before it was too late, because what happened to him was that he was told by them that he needs to buy a laptop and headphones and other type of remote work equipment, right? And it came out where the bill would be about $3,200, where he would have to buy all these things. And that's where he knew that he was getting scammed. And he felt like very stupid for a moment, but at least he recognized it before it was too late. And he ended up not spending the money, luckily. And then when he basically tried to get in touch with Coinbase to complain or whatever, they said, that's definitely not our job listing. You know, all our job listings are listed on our website only, and if you found it anywhere else, it's a scam. So you need to be on the lookout for this if you're a job seeker, because it can be very easy to fall for something like this right now, especially the longer you go unemployed and the more desperate you get for money, the less you might start paying attention to these subtle details, and ultimately things can get much worse for you if someone ends up stealing your identity, or even stealing $3,000 from you guys when you have no money as it is, or you're unemployed, you know? So just watch out for this stuff, because it just seems like there's always one scam after another popping up, and they're always looking to take advantage of people in desperate times like this. So be on the lookout. Now this house, even though it's merely just blocks away from where we just walked, it is quite a bit cheaper, as you can see, at $599,000. It is a 3-2, but I feel like it's cheaper because the neighborhood changes a little bit once you go a little bit over this way. It's definitely a little more sketchy than where we did this walk, but this is walking distance to literally where we're walking in this video, and that just goes to show how much things change from block to block around here. And it's another sort of flip, guys. Bought in 2018, $375,000, and now they listed it for $599. And this is what you get for affordable in Miami. So I hope this kind of satisfies your curiosity of what's out there. And by the way, there are houses that are in the $300K range, but they are basically in dangerous parts of town. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you click the bell notification down below. YouTube will alert you every time I post a new video. And if you don't want to wait, check out my next one on the screen right over here, and I'll see you in the next one.